here it is. The truck of our dreams. Kenworth T800. I'm pretty sure it's wide hood. 20,000 pound front axle, big tires. 4-axle truck. And I think he's hooked up to a XL trailer, but I can be mistaken. We'll see once he starts leaving the scale. So this is TA in Morris, Illinois. They just raised the price. I was just about to go get fuel. Cash was $255. Now it's $265. $261. The guy has some kind of a weird sleeper. Too small for my taste. Yeah, that's probably less than 70. So anyway, so yeah, I delivered my load of that used 328D Cat. There's a Ritchie Brothers auction nearby here, Morris. So I stayed overnight, and they wanted me to go empty back, and then there was a load in Alabama, but that was too far, and it was going to Northern Ontario, and they say there's still some weight restrictions over there in Michigan, Minnesota. Alright, so what do we have? Yeah, it's XL. See, white hood. How would they know? Because of the lights. The lights are single lights. Yeah, smaller sleeper, probably just like mine. So it's 4-axle truck, Cat 330D, 3-axle trailer with a 2-axle booster. So 9 axles. Okay. And so yeah, I found the load. I found the load myself. It's the same deal I did last week, as smaller type of a John Deere excavator. So now I'm just going over the weekend. My job is to be in North Carolina Monday, and pick up, of course, a much smaller machine. That's what you see here. Alright, Mr. Trucker is getting out. Okay. Check the fuel tank. Fuel tank is good. Alright, where did I put my keys? Keys. No, of course I'm kidding. So, see, he has 2 flags on each end of the track. Just doing a walk around, checking tires. He probably just got loaded here at this auction. It's just a couple of miles north of the truck stop. Always a good idea to check your tires, especially when you have 9 axles. It's much easier to get help when you're inside a truck stop, because the shop is right here, than if you're somewhere on the road with this heavy load. So 330, that's pretty heavy. I can do it too. I don't think you need that booster with my 8 axles. I think I did one of these before. It's probably just 87,000 pounds. Alright, now it's time for coffee. Okay, take a picture. No? Alright. But that's the truck I wanted to get. And then we changed to regular hood. But for now, it's out of my... Oops, sorry. It's out of my league, because I only had like one serious call in 3 months about the truck. And I don't know, nothing's wrong with the truck. By the way, that call was from Alaska. Alaska Mac dealer called me and said he might have a customer. I sent him a bunch of pictures and then he disappeared. And what happened today, I talked to a friend of mine who's a good mechanic, has a full garage of tools, and that was my argument. I said, you have all these tools in the garage, so you should know more than me. And he says, well, I'm just buy them. But he does he has a Pete, so he does his own repairs. I think he can probably swap the engine as well. But my question was about the air in the fuel system, like what I tried to solve at the Mac dealer, and those guys could not find it, and they replaced the O-rings on injectors, they did the top set. And I called them, I said, well, you said yourself that O-rings were fine, so I'm not going to pay for that, but I said I will pay you for the injector adjustment, because that's, my book says, has to be done every 12 months. I never did that since I got this truck in October 14. Yeah, but this friend of mine who's mechanically inclined said that probably, I said I was looking for the simple system, simple solution, as usually it's something simple. And because my truck loses performance over a course of maybe 2 or 3 days, so it's a very tiny leak somewhere. So, and it started happening more or less after the oil change. And so this guy suggested to look at filters. First of all, he says you'd be surprised how often shops install wrong filters. And so I called the Mac dealer in Canada from here. I said, if I give you my VIN number, can you tell me what filters I'm supposed to have? Fuel filters. I have 2. One is a regular, like a big mother, and then the other one is smaller, but it has a water separator at the bottom with a little tab, and also has a primer on the top. And so and the guy on the phone says, oh, just look at your own filters, they'll have part numbers on them. I said, I know, but what if they're wrong ones? I said, I want to double check, make sure they're the proper ones. So if I'll give you my VIN number, what do you need? 6, 7 last digits, and please check and tell me the part numbers, Mac part numbers for the 2 fuel filters. And the guy, okay. Then he comes back and he gives me the numbers. I open the hood after thanking him and crawl under over there very tight, and I find the numbers, they match. So one possible problem is eliminated. So I do have the proper filters. And what this guy was saying, a friend of mine, he says that sometimes they don't install them correctly, like they over tighten them or maybe under tighten them, so they can damage that little rubber gasket over there between the filter and the body where it's connected. And so once that gasket is damaged, it can be like a tiny microscopic hole, and that's what can cause all this. And he said if this was him, he said, instead of spending money on all this troubleshooting, because they will never find it, and they'll keep charging me by the hour, he says, just replace the filters. He says it's just $20 for a filter. And that's the whole point of this video, is that it's not $20, it's more money. But I went in the morning, like, since I have nothing to do, I figured, wait a second, I'm sitting right outside of the shop. TA truck service, and I swore that I will never use TA before. After that incident in New York when they charged me for work not done. But these guys seem pretty nice in here. Like, the clerk was nice, a guy, like, very polite, understanding. And I asked him about this sensor, or actually connector, that the Speedy they might break. They were not sure they could change it, but I asked them, but I said, could you ask your mechanic, because I don't want to pay money, like if you bring my truck in the shop and then you tell me that you can change the filters, but you're not responsible if you break that connector. And the guy said, okay. So he went and asked the mechanic, and the mechanic said, we can do it, we don't see a problem in that. And so they put in not the Mac filters, but of course they have Fleet Guard, but they're the same stuff, you know. They just, maybe they're a bit worse, but at this point I'm just curious to see if there'll be any difference, if I still have to use the primer, because before I started using that primer on the fuel filter, like every couple of days, like 2-3 days, I would it would take about 20 pumps, and then the performance is like off the charts, honestly. Like the truck pulls amazing, you know. And then it starts getting worse every day, and day 3 I have to do it again. So I just want to see what's gonna happen. And what they do is, you know, they take your Mac filter part numbers and they look in their book or in their computer, and Fleet Guard and this, you know, all these third-party filters, they have a matching system, and that's what they install. So that's what I did. And so the plan is, yeah, Monday be in North Carolina at the John Deere dealer, pick up the machine. It's about 56,000 pounds. If you look like 2 videos back, I took a machine from North Carolina to Ontario, so it's the same one. Brand new. And if you remember, I had a problem with the flip axle. We had to put a bigger block under the bucket, and I don't like that. So I think this time I'll just ask him, because the last time when I was loading, the guy asked me, he says, you want to flip the axle? You know, they don't see a problem with that. It's just before he loads, he can come over to the rear of the trailer and just, I hook up a chain, he drops the axle, you know. That's, people do it all the time, you know. Just use the machine you load to reposition your own equipment. And that's why I don't like dealing with these. I'm pointing to that monster Kenworth. I don't like dealing with these Jeeps and spreaders, because then you always have to ask people for favors, you know. And then of course, what do you do with that spreader on the way back? You just load it on the trailer and that's it. Now you cannot do a load, so you're always moving like one way, you know. At least with this flip axle, most of the time it's not in the way. But I think what I'll do is I'm gonna put it down, because I still need 3 axles in the back. So I'm gonna put the flip down, hook it up, but I can raise axle 3 on the trailer. So instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, I will have on the ground 1, 2, 4, and I'll be a bit longer, like 80 feet instead of 75. But I don't think that'll be a problem, because it's a, you know, relatively light load, and maybe I'll keep it like that for now. And when I come back to Ontario, the other plan is, in terms of maintenance, is I noticed that my front axle tires are wearing out much faster. Front axle on the trailer, they're wearing out much faster than the other tires, because, you know, because of the big spread, 60-inch spacing. Yeah, DOT, MTO, they like it, but it's hard on the trailer when the axles are spaced apart like that, because a lot of weight goes on the front axle. And I noticed that when I had Kaufman with the 54-inch spacing, the tires were wearing out better, you know. It's like kind of funny. And actually, I remember talking to Kaufman about this. I said, what setup is actually easier on the trailer, a longer spread or shorter spread? And he said, no doubt, the shorter the axles are together, the easier it is on the trailer. Because imagine if the axles are like on a drive end, you know, 48 inches, and you put them all after the other, that's the best part, because they just so close together, they take all the load from the trailer and they spread them between themselves, so none of them is overloaded. But as soon as you start, but DOT does not like this, because then there's too much pressure on the road. So they don't care about your trailer, they care about the road, right? And the bridge formula, because the closer the axles are together, the more impact they will have on the road. But kind of like, you know, ironic or funny that the closer, like one setup is actually better for the trailer, but the other setup is worse for the trailer, but it's better for the road. So you see, like, it's always like this. The government is trying to achieve their objectives at truckers' cost, right? Like, we have emissions equipment, I'm paying for DEF for all these expensive repairs of the emission system, and I have to have this long spread, so now my tires are wearing out quicker, you know, but they like it. And also they like having spacing on the truck. Instead of 52, they like having 54. So the longer for them, especially in the States, the longer your axles are apart, the better for them. But I remember talking to one guy in Ontario when I was with Landstat doing research about all these lowboy trailers, and I talked to one guy, and he just had a 3-axle truck and a 50-ton 3-axle trailer, and he said he went with a 60-inch spacing like all Canadians do, and he was not happy. He says it just, the trailer is heavier, longer, and he could not do, you know, too many loads. He says his next trailer would be just a 54-inch spacing. But I still like 60-inch because that's also used in South US. That's why I got this Fontaine, right, from Alabama. It had 60-inch spacing, like, which is normally reserved for Canada, but Alabama and southern US states, they also like that, and that's how they order their trailers. But what I like is that in Ontario, right, you always look at your own jurisdiction. In Ontario, Canada, where I'm mostly based, right, you get about 6,000 pounds more on these axles if they are spaced 60 inches apart. So it is better for the load, you know. After all, we make money when we move a load. So I understand that closer axles are better for the trailer, but, you know, you have to follow the rules, right? So I was talking to Kaufman about this 50-ton flat deck custom trailer, and I said, yeah, make it 60-inch spacing. And they charge a fee for that, but it's better for work. Anyway, yesterday was a very nice weather for photography, but I only took a picture of my truck with a cell phone, put it on Instagram. People love it. Like, the clouds were really dramatic today. There's nothing. Blue sky. It was cold in the morning, but now it's I feel hot in this double. Look, I have a jacket and then I have this. And I think I'll start moving after lunch. Now it's what, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock here. I'm going south and then east and south because I'm near Chicago, Illinois. I don't want to go through Chicago. There's tolls, there's traffic. I just want to go south. I need to get towards Indianapolis and then go southeast from there towards northern part of North Carolina. It's going to be a relaxing drive. Love driving empty. And in case somebody is surprised why I'm doing so many empty miles, it's again because I'm Canadian. And Canadian truckers are not allowed to move loads inside US. Right? So I bring a machine from Canada, deliver it over here. And in Canada, I can do what I want, whatever I want. I can move loads between points in Canada because I'm a citizen. We're showing different documents here. Here's my other one. This one already expired. It says the Russian Federation passport. See, it has all these cool pictures. And everything is in Russian. Like, I remember flying to Russia, and you're supposed to use a Russian passport, and I was changing planes in either Frankfurt or Switzerland somewhere, and I show them this, and they say, do you have an international passport with English? I said, well, I have this, but I'm supposed to use this because I'm a Russian, and the rules in Russia is that if you're a Russian citizen, you have to enter the country with a Russian passport. I said, what if I didn't have this? Like, that's what they want me to have. It's not my fault, it's all in Russian, right? Oh, it does say over here, on the last page, it does say, you see, Российская Федерация, and right underneath it says Russian Federation. So there's like 2 words in English. And then my name is actually spelled first in Russian, then in English. And for some reason they lost my Mikhailovich. Dratchev Sergei Mikhailovich, but the translation is only Dratchev Sergei. Hey, what happened to Mikhailovich? Uh-oh. But anyway, this one expired in 2016. I cannot even use it. I don't know why I carry it with me, but... So in case somebody send me some questions about Russia, I have no idea what's going on in that country. I'm Canadian, right? I moved here in 1997. My only ties to Russia are my brother and my mother. I don't read the news, I don't read the newspapers, I don't watch their movies, I don't listen to their songs. I'm Canadian. So, no load until Monday. I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little update with a picture of a monster truck. I'm still looking at that. It's still sitting over there. What a truck. So a quick update from Morris, Illinois. Let's show you again the truck over there. There's a pilot, a new pilot right next to us. And in the morning I went across the street to International House of Pancakes. Had some crepes with ham and cheese. So thanks for watching. Enjoy your weekends, boys and girls. Be cool.